There we go. And what is up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the Renegade Roundtable. I am Jeffrey Kirby. We got Stone with us. You can finally see her again after last week and us seeing her holding up a fish. A picture of a fish like last week.
I'm a human again.
Yeah, we actually have another human back on with us. Obviously, we are missing one human being on the show, other known as Caleb. He did have to work tonight, but there is that. How are you?
I am not okay. I am so not okay.
Kaylee says Stone.
Kaylee!
Let's just say this episode is exactly how the title is going to be. Or what I have the title of this show as.
Wait, what's the title again?
Steelers and fans are in shambles after
that is
1-3 start.
Yeah.
Because fans are in shambles, the Steelers are in shambles.
I'm in shambles.
I'm in shambles. Caleb's in shambles. That's not here. Kaylee
I got this Avengers Band-Aid on.
I'm actually drinking water.
Nobody knows what's happening. It's a disaster.
Before we get started, I'm going to address something. And
I'm so scared right now. Oh my gosh.
And this was something that me and Stone kind of talked about off air. And as you can tell by my background, right here, it's vodka. Yeah, pretty much. We have my background, Ben Roethlisberger, Juju Smith-Schuster. Two very controversial players going on right now. One is most likely on the verge of getting canned for the rest of his career. And one is everyone loves to slander him because God knows why. Because, he makes little Corvette TikToks. But, ladies and gentlemen, why in the hell are we slandering Juju Smith-Schuster for doing something nice? For doing something nice. He didn't have, and it's not the first time he doesn't broadcast it. And for those that went on the Renegade Roundtable Twitter when we made that post and started saying, it was staged, it was all that, aka the clown Mark Madden. I don't get how you could say that, because he does this on numerous occasions where it's a situation where if you have the money, someone's in front of you is at a local Giant Eagle or wherever the hell you get your groceries at, someone doesn't have their debit card. If you have the funds and you're and you're nice of a person, you might, you'll pay for it. Juju obviously has the funds to do it. And there's no cameras around. It's not like a charity event where everyone knows and there's cameras and news reporters. And no, he's doing it because he's nice, because he's kind, because it's good juju. Pun all intended.
Good juju.
But, again, people love on Steeler Twitter to actually, and not only just Steeler Nation, not just Steeler Twitter, all of the NFL, because they love to hate on a 22, 23-year-old man who is making great money, who came from a family where he had about 1.5 billion siblings, and people just love to hate. And most of y'all who do decide to hate tweet probably only have about 5 followers. So at this point, you should not be allowed to tweet unless you have at least 50 followers or 40 followers. Let me say that. So yeah, I don't get all of you. And in terms of Steeler fans in general, most of y'all sound like a bunch of dumbasses with your tweets. Not all of you. Some of you are logical. Some of you understand certain aspects of football. But some of y'all are just some of the biggest jackasses I've ever met in my life. And I haven't even met y'all. But I don't get y'all. I don't get it. You guys will bitch and complain about every little thing. Yes, there's a whole lot that's going wrong with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I get it. A lot of us are speaking with emotion when we're talking about Ben Roethlisberger, because for most of us, myself included, have never known of anything Pittsburgh Steelers related without Benjamin Todd Roethlisberger.
Not the government name. Oh God.
Yeah, I went there. I but I get it. There are some people that are, always going to protect Ben Roethlisberger and say, no, he needs to play, blah, 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 whatever. We're going to get into some stats later on. And I feel like there's definitely some scapegoating going on. And that's something that we're going to have to discuss. There's some uncomfortable conversations that need to be made with this Pittsburgh Steelers team. And no one is willing to do that because I love me Ben Roethlisberger. He's been my quarterback since I was about 5 years old. Yeah, well, that was a long time ago. Not now, bucko. Now, back to our regularly scheduled program. Let's discuss.
And everybody thought I chose violence. Yet here we are.
And let's get on. Oh, because violence is not done yet. Do you think Ben's age is affecting his performance? Yes and no. And we'll start off with that. Stone, I'll let you start off. I'll let you answer that question first.
I agree with you. I think yes and no. I think I stand by the same argument that I've had since day one. I think that the O-line is trash. I think that's not doing him any justice. I do think he is aging. I mean, let's be honest. Father Time's going to get you regardless.
It's going to get you. By the way, it's too good. It's going to get you to Thomas Edward Patrick Brady. It's going to get you
I thought
too.
you were talking to me. I was like, leave me alone. I have arthritis. It already got me. Don't you worry. I'm good.
You better be,
I think
you're
that
the quarterback of 2022.
No, I got to get into shape quick. Okay. I do think that the age is affecting his performance. I think that his lack of confidence in the O-line is affecting his performance. I think the fact that he is getting pummeled into the ground every single play is, affecting his performance. I think literally everything that is happening is affecting his performance. 100%.
And here's a stat for you that, because apparently I'm the stat person around here, who...
you are.
Kaylee says weak line leaves the QB open for tackles and hard hits hurt even more the older you get. Well, here's a stat too that's interesting. On the plays that Ben Roethlisberger does have a clean pocket, he's 30th. He's the 30th. He's ranked 30th in the NFL this year when throwing from a clean pocket. There's a lot of issues that are going on with the Pittsburgh Steelers, especially on offense. Hell, even on defense, there's a little.
Oh no, wait. Let me time out though. I agree with what you're saying. I think he is making a lot of mistakes. And a majority of the interceptions have been on him. I do agree. However, I also think that he has no faith in his O-line. So when he does have a clean pocket, I feel like he's like, okay, am I about to get murdered or do I actually have time to throw a ball? You know what I'm saying? Like, right. I feel like it's like, and that's not saying that there's not blame on him. I do think there is blame on him. I don't want anybody to come on Twitter and be like, you're an idiot, get out of here. But, there is blame to put on him. But if you don't trust your pocket, if you don't trust your team, how will you perform? How?
Yeah. So Steeler Freak makes a good point on something, and this is something that, again, discusses that the offensive line is not just the only issue with this team. Ben Roethlisberger was only pressured on 7% of his dropbacks. Yes, on 40. That's the lowest percent by a quarterback with 40 attempts in a loss since 2013. First off, too, that's an interesting stat per ESPN. But when when Ben Roethlisberger's actually having a clean pocket, and yes, what you said, there is no faith. Where before, I think we brought this what if situation last week. If, say, for an example, if Ben Roethlisberger, 39-year-old Ben Roethlisberger now had the offensive line he did in maybe 2016, 2017, how would he look and how would this offense look in general? Because in that case, he has the confidence, but right now he doesn't. So he's always having to wonder if he might be seeing ghosts. And I know that's something that we've heard comparisons for with Sam Darnold. I hear here in Cleveland, I heard that in 2019 with Baker Mayfield when that season was going terrible and Baker Mayfield did not look good. We were hearing comparisons about that here as well. And there's always that question in the back of your mind. in terms of Ben Roethlisberger, because at the end of the day, you never know. And I'll get into a little bit later on some of the pass rushers that this defense is going to be going up against throughout the stretch in the season. It does not get any easier, especially even coming up this Sunday against Denver. Ben Roethlisberger did miss on 2 touchdown passes to Juju, which, again, people were trying to blame Juju Smith-Schuster for that because, Antonio Brown would have caught that pass. Yeah, well, first off, again, I know we had this discussion, or we had this debate a while ago, where Antonio Brown and Hines were in the Hall of Fame. Regardless of, Antonio Brown is still one of the better wide receivers, maybe not in the NFL, but especially all time in terms of the stats and stuff, but that's a different story. But the comparison is even that kind of person because Juju's not the tallest either. Ben Roethlisberger missed. He whiffed on 2 touchdowns. That could have changed this game completely. And again, there's another play that we're going to get into that the referees decided to whiff. And don't worry, Steeler Nation, we're going to have more time in the world to dog them. What's up, Tony? I see you. Leading in wide receiver drops and giving up on routes, plus more penalties than rushing yards. The D hasn't played well since Buffalo. Yeah, I mean there is part of that. There was the one game against Cincinnati where they were missing a lot of key pieces on that defense, and Joe Burrow in that offense, I hate to say it, if they could go out again this Sunday and play well, that's going to be a team that is going to be interesting to watch down the stretch. But we're going to have to face them again later on in the season as well. But yeah, Ben did not have a good game at all. He did have the 1 touchdown pass at the beginning of the game, which, once again, I'm about to rant again at CBS. I don't know how many others got affected by this, but Jay may not be in the comments right now, but if you are, he'll relate to this because I was with him when this happened. CBS, so you're meaning to tell me that you're going to make us miss the first quarter of a game that's supposed to be the CBS game of the week, where you have Tony Romo, Jim Nance, Tracy Wolfstein, and all that, for the Jets? For the New York Jets. Congratulations, y'all finally got your first win. For the Jets. The Jets.
Honestly, I actually blame you guys. Listen, I fully blame you for this loss, because we were doing great until they switched the game, and then all of a sudden everyone forgot what they were doing. So how superstitious I am.
You know what it is?
What?
And this is becoming a trend over the last 3 games. Steelers are good for 1 good drive a year, or 1 good drive a game. They decided to just start off early, say, oh yeah, now we're cooking. No, you're not. You're supposed to cook the whole game. You were supposed to cook the whole meal. You only cooked part of the side dish.
They tried to feed us raw chicken.
Yeah, well, there's 4 quarters, or there's 4 pieces. We'll say there's 4 parts of a meal. They only cooked 1 part of 1 side of the meal. You know what it is, pretty much? If this was a 4-course meal, they only gave you the drink. They said, the hell with you and your food.
Get out.
Maybe you got peanuts if you went to a certain restaurant and they had peanuts. Maybe you got peanuts. That's about it. That's the issue with this team right now, is they're not consistent. They're not sustaining drives. They're not. And this was a stat that I haven't had a chance to go and look this back up. Outside of that Cincinnati game that we had last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever the hell you want to call it, they've been the play differential has been very suspect. Very suspect, and that's an issue, especially going on down the stretch.
I am suspicious of literally everything that is happening with this team. I'll be honest with you. I feel like there is, and I know you'll go in deeper on the statistics and everything about it because that's what you do. But there's no consistency. There's no communication. I feel like everyone's just out there kind of running around doing whatever. It's like trying to coach children.
Hold on, Tony, I don't know what you're talking about. If you're saying that
he's talking to me. He's talking to me.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say because I didn't kick anyone.
No, he's talking to me because in the Twitter Spaces.
Oh, jeez. But continue on with what you were saying.
I feel like it's like trying to coach like Pee-wee football. Like nobody understands what they're supposed to, and it's like the first day, but it's like that every day here. You know, there's no consistency. Nobody's on the same page.
It makes you question, because if you looked at this, if you're Matt Canada, if you're Mike Tomlin, if you're Ben Roethlisberger, and you're sitting in a meeting discussing what the hell is going on with this offense, there are a lot of it too is Ben Roethlisberger's decision making. One of the fourth down plays that he had where he dumped it off to Najee Harris, that was the exact play that they ran against Cincinnati, which also whiffed on a fourth down as well. So it makes you think, oh, fourth down, one play. Okay, yep, that'll work every time. No, you're 0 for 2 on that exact play. So it makes you question that. And you look at that. He throws it off to Najee Harris. You have Pat Freiermuth in a zone by himself, easy first down. All you have to do is turn your damn head. Turn your head. It's not that hard. And I understand you're going through progressions, but at the same time, it makes you really question decision-making with Ben Roethlisberger. And we can even go into the second fourth down, too.
I think that's what Kaylee just asked, too. You know, she said, serious question, who all gets the blame for not being on the same page? And I think everyone gets the blame, but my real question is, who's going to step up and fix it? Who's going to step up and say, clearly we are not together. Clearly we have no idea what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, there's some kind of miscommunication, and we had to figure out who's going to be that leader and step up and say,
right,
what the f is going on?
You know, and we talk about, too, this offensive line as well. You have a new offensive line coach who got hired in this year, so this is his first year. So, you know, he's having to learn. He's trying to teach these guys, a bunch of new guys, a bunch of rookies, second-year guys, this offense, teach them about different schemes. And I understand learning different things is hard when it comes to offensive line. If there's one thing that I could actually somewhat understand what the hell's going on in football, it is offensive line. But yeah, you look, and it starts at Mike Tomlin. This is your team, and you're supposed to be one of the top tier coaches in the NFL. And right now you are not that's not looking like that. You are looking like one of the previous 10,697 Cleveland Browns coaches that probably will get fired in the second year. And then on top of that, then you go to Matt Canada and Ben Roethlisberger, having those discussions, having those conversations, trying to figure out what can we do that's not making this offense predictable. And I've made this reference on numerous occasions, and I'll make it again. One-dimensional, but the true definition of one-dimensional. That's what this offense is looking like right now. Especially when Ben Roethlisberger, here, I'll bring out one of the 17,000 stats that I have.
Listen, go off on your stats, because I've just turned my fan on, because this is like, I'm getting heated, like, talking about this. But I have to bring my chair because I'm short, and I have to stand on it. Leave me alone.
So Ben Roethlisberger right now, in terms of qualifying quarterbacks, there are 30 qualifying quarterbacks that are a part of this stat that I'm about to say. He is last in average yards per attempt at 6.1. That is not good.
What?
That you cannot have that if you're trying to spread this offense around. You cannot, because at that point you have one or two big plays. Again, where in this case the first touchdown we had to Deontay Johnson, nice little 45-yard pass, looked good. Ben Roethlisberger actually he put the ball on the money. Deontay Johnson, who's looked incredible this year, is going out, and Deontay Johnson is one of the few bright spots so far, one of the few positives. Yeah. Which we'll get into actual positives of the season so far, because eventually, I mean, there's a whole lot more negatives than positives right now, but just this offense in general. And here's a stat for you, and I'm gonna talk about the other teams involved in this. The Steelers are 27th in total offense this year. The other offenses that are below you, the same kind of category that you're in with this offense. The Saints, who pretty much is only Jameis Winston and Alvin Kamara. The New York Jets, again, terrible. The Houston Texans, where David Culley is looking like an absolute clown shoe and is looking like one of the worst head coaches that we've ever seen in some of his game decisions that we've seen. The Miami Dolphins, who they're already questioning what the hell is going on with their QB and Tua Tagovailoa and whether he's even going to be the guy because there's been trade rumors with him and Deshaun Watson. And the Chicago Bears, where, don't get me wrong, I love me some Justin Fields. But your quarterbacks that you've been using are Justin Fields, who's looked not good, and Andy Dalton,
who lost to me in a poll of who should be the quarterback.
Boom. Or didn't hire a new offense coordinator. They hired from within. Maybe start looking to hire outside the organization and not the assistant to a failed job. Yeah, that's something that, and again, it goes to one of the different rules that the Rooneys have, where, I'm sorry, I love the Rooney family. This isn't the 1980s. Those same rules, those same principles that you were going by those times will not work in 2021. And that goes again to what happened with with this year's NFL draft. And I am definitely in the minority on this, where, don't get me wrong, I like Najee Harris, but I did not want the Pittsburgh Steelers to draft him at 24. I'm sorry. And I understand, Stone, you're a big Alabama fan, and don't get me wrong, Najee Harris...
No, my biggest concern is, like, I agree with how you feel, and I understand completely, but, like, at this point in time, there's really not anything I can do about it. You know, I can't, like, call up the Roonies and be like, hey, that was a bad idea, and they just, like, return them to the store.
Yeah, there is nothing that you can do. I mean, it's already said and done.
Yeah.
And, but it's just... If we see this consistently, and the last time, I mean... They have a better chance of you have a better chance of going out, drafting offensive linemen, making offensive line a focus. I understand this year you were kind of in a situation where you were sticky with money and you really couldn't do much, and you were trying to save cap. But now going into next year, you have funds. You need to make some serious changes to this offensive line. Serious. You need to go and figure out. And I'm not saying you go out there and regularly spend and overpay like hell for guys, but you need to make some changes to this offensive line. Because Kevin Dotson, who just got hurt again he just got hurt with his hip. Don't get me wrong, I like the jersey number you wear, but other than that, you have not played well at all. Kendrick Green, everyone is saying he's wearing 53. That must mean he's Marquise Pouncey once again. Hell no, that ain't how that's looking. Trey Turner, he's out here spitting in people's faces. Chuks Okorafor, every time we heard Mike Tomlin say that he might be back this week, and we're all sitting here like, oh, Jesus Christ, why the hell is this happening? Please, Zach Bader, please, for the love of God, please bring your 6'11" ass back. And then you get Dan Moore, where... There you go. That's my reaction right there. It does work sometimes, but Butler was a good replacement, and he replaced a good system. Yeah, and what they've done, and remember with Keith Butler, for the first couple of years, we were screaming for him to get the hell out of town. We were basically people were putting a bounty on his job. And obviously, what helped was the fact that you were able to draft T.J. Watt in the first round in 2017, where he's been incredible, and we all know that you were able in 2018. You did draft Terrell Edmonds, where he's a guy that he didn't necessarily start off great, but he's starting to learn more. And if you listen to the press conference with Minkah Fitzpatrick, those two have a very good connection, and you want that in your safeties. And then that goes into 2019. You trade for Minkah Fitzpatrick, and you draft Devin Bush. So you get a sideline-to-sideline kind of linebacker to replace what Ryan Shazier was supposed to be for you. 2020, obviously, we didn't have a first-round pick, but you go out and get Chase Claypool. And then 2021, you get Najee Harris. So for the most part, over the last few years, they've done very well in drafts. But there needs to be some serious changes, and we're gonna have to discuss again what are we gonna do at quarterback, because there's so many options right now. Is this Aaron Rodgers to Pittsburgh thing real? Is that actually going to happen?
I don't know why people are so on that. Like, I'm sorry, but
Can you
actually,
say that
I'm not
one more
sorry.
time?
No, I'm not. I'm not sorry. I don't apologize. Because I think, like, fine, whatever. If he wants to come here for, like, $5 and a Happy Meal, cool. I'm down with it. But the fact of the matter is people are acting like he's going to save all of our hopes and dreams, and he's not. He's just not. I understand Aaron Rodgers is a good quarterback. I give him that. Like, I'm not downplaying him. But everyone's like, if he comes here, we'll win a Super Bowl. No, we're not. We're not going to.
That's not how that works. And again,
I know, but that's how the timeline Twitter is acting. They're acting like he's going to come here and he's going to be like the deliverer.
Because again, some of people on Steeler Twitter are complete jackasses that don't understand the logic of football. They don't understand that. Now, there are definitely props to getting Aaron Charles Rodgers into Pittsburgh.
You with the Hall of Names.
Listen, but there are positives to it. You trust his arm. He is mobile in the pocket, and you can trust him to make the beautiful throws.
If you put him behind the O-line, he's going to die.
And that's where I'm getting to, though. That's where I'm getting to next. But then that's where, okay, you have your quarterback situation not permanently fixed because he is a little bit up there in age. But that's where you really...
He could be a bridge guy.
If you're making Aaron Rodgers... No, I wouldn't make Aaron Rodgers a bridge guy because you're going to be giving up too much draft capital. If you're going to get someone like a bridge guy, then you're hoping for someone like a Teddy Bridgewater. Someone like that.
But I'm saying he's not long term. He could get us through a few years, maybe while we get the O-line together. But I don't think he's, people are acting like he's going to come be our savior. That's what I'm saying. If people are like, if Aaron Rodgers comes here, it's going to be rainbows and sunshine.
Well, and that's, again, not how that works. Now, what that does, again, is that opens things up with the offense because, A, you could trust Aaron Rodgers to make the correct play, to make correct decisions. He is, once again, very accurate with the football. And you understand he is mobile in the pocket. He's not obviously Lamar Jackson mobile, but he can maneuver around. But I think what you need to do, if you do go that route, is, again, make offensive line your priority and continue to build around him because you have weapons. You have guys. And I'm sorry, I want Juju to be back unless he does another one of those deals where he did this year. It took a one-year deal where he took less money because he really wants to be here. I don't know if he's going to be back. But then you look at that and say, okay, you lose Juju. We love him. Well, apparently some hate him, but most of us love him. You still have Deontay Johnson. You still have Chase Claypool. You have a guy like James Washington who could come in and fill that role. And then you still have good tight ends. You have a Pat Freiermuth, which he did not really get utilized at all, and I think that's an issue. He needs to be more utilized. And there's different ways that you could use these two tight ends, which I'll talk about, and something that this offense needs to do down the stretch. Eric Ebron is Eric Ebron. If he could catch some footballs, he would be all right. We don't fix the line. Rodgers is going to get banged up just like Ben. One person doesn't win games. Offensive line is arguably the most important part of the team. And yes, and that's something that if you truly understand the game of football, that's something that you'll always understand. Football games are won and lost in the trenches. You build and this is something that you look at some of the best teams in the NFL. What have they done? They've built good offensive lines. They've been Baltimore. I hate to use Baltimore, but they went out because they had a bunch of questions, but they went out and tried to do some different stuff with their offensive line. Kansas City, they lost 2 or 3 of their offensive linemen because they had the doctor at right guard, and then you have the 2 tackles who they released. They went out and they made that a priority. And I hate to say it again, but Cleveland, they went out last year, 2020. They went out, drafted Jedrick Wills from Alabama. They went out, got Jack Conklin from Tennessee, and they were able to build. Dallas, what they were doing for a while, where they consistently built offensive line, or they were consistently drafting offensive line in the first round, and then they were able to develop, they were able to gel, and then over the course of time, they looked phenomenal. And that's something that needs to happen because defensively, on the trenches, I think we're okay. We are missing Stephon Tuitt, which it doesn't sound like we're going to get him back again this week. And then you have Tyson Alualu, who, again, is out most likely for the year. Michael says, I'll sign, get me Juju back. Pittsburgh listens. Green Bay just ignores wide receiver in the draft for him. Yeah, that is an issue. Yeah, there's so much that could go on with this team and a whole lot of questions that are going to need to be answered, not only for this year, but the future of this team as well.
We've got some dark days ahead of us for sure.
Maybe if we truly, because don't get me wrong, we made it, if I'm not mistaken, we made it playoffs with Tommy Maddox, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I'm just saying overall for long term, we've got. I know our biggest thing is saying, we don't rebuild, we reload.
Or retool, however you want to say it.
We're walking a fine line with that right now.
Yeah, and obviously, once again, and people are saying, oh yeah, they'll just draft another another great quarterback. It is what people do need to realize. It's a whole lot harder than it looks. I mean. I understand, too, and I'm going to make references to some of the quarterbacks that got drafted this year, and I understand the rookies with some that we're going to have to watch out for. Trevor Lawrence, one of the best college prospects that we have ever seen at Clemson. And I understand, again, the situation is not good, and especially when your head coach is getting caught in a college club as well. Yeah, that's and don't get me wrong, I love me some Urban Meyer at Ohio State. He did bring me a national championship, but...
I'm leaving. I'm getting off. I can't deal with you. You like Urban Meyer. That's disgusting.
The off from Ohio State. I didn't like how the way he handled that whole the situation with the wide receiver. Do you want me to give Nick Saban props? Do you want me to say that he is one of the best college football coaches of all time?
Yes, I do.
Well, I will, because he actually is. I actually don't hate Nick Saban at all. I actually hate Dabo Swinney way more. But
who doesn't? But anyways, go on.
Outside of Clemson fans. But yeah, people need to understand that it's hard to draft a Hall of Fame quarterback. We got lucky. In a way, you always have to say you got lucky when you draft a Hall of Fame quarterback. Trevor Lawrence. He's not looked all the greatest in the world. Zach Wilson, good God, he threw 4 interceptions in a game. Trey Lance, he really hasn't got much of an opportunity, but he's going to get, I think, more with Jimmy Garoppolo being out. That's another guy to watch out for as well, if you're Pittsburgh. One of the 5,678 names to watch out for. Justin Fields. He was a guy that you look at that situation, you're like, okay, that's not bad. Well, Matt Nagy's probably getting fired because the way he's handling things is absolutely terrible, and he has not looked the greatest in the world either. And then Mac Jones. No, don't get me wrong. You're going to a team with one of the best offensive coordinators and arguably the best head coach of all time at Bill Belichick.
I hate Mac Jones.
I actually didn't.
I hate Mac Jones. And you know what I think it is? I'll be honest. I'm going to be honest because I'm biased. I'm going to be honest. I think it's like the Patriots curse. Like, as soon as you play for the Patriots, I instantly hate you.
Well, there you go. Okay, there's that.
Andy Dalton, I hate his
What's
face.
up, Zay? Michael says, outside of Green Bay, who's drafted back-to-back Hall of Fame quarterbacks in the last 30 years? I'm just asking because they seem like they're the only ones. You're right. What Green Bay did, well, no, they didn't draft. I think a lot of people forget that Green Bay did not draft Aaron Rodgers. They did draft Aaron Rodgers. They did not draft Brett Favre. They actually got in a trade with Atlanta, with the Falcons. Wait, Stone, you hate Mac Jones? Yeah, because he's a Patriot.
I do. I hate the Patriots. Sorry.
Whoever the Kayla puts in the comments, whoever the Chargers draft next will put them at back-to-back Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Oh, here you go.
I know what he's trying to get at by saying you hate Mac Jones, and I totally respect that. But it's the Patriots thing for me. I don't, and weirdly enough, this is off topic kind of, but weirdly enough, I actually started to hate Tom Brady less when he left.
One thing that I'll say this, since we're on this topic, The only reason why I actually hated Tom Brady was because of the fact that he was one of our biggest competitors in terms of playoffs.
Right.
That I never truly hated Tom Brady the player.
He's an alien. He's not a real human being. You cannot convince me otherwise. There's nothing you can do to tell me that man is an actual human being. He's a robot.
Like, and it felt kind of nice when he did go to Tampa Bay. I'm like, okay, I kind of like you now. So
I honestly cheered for them when they went to Tampa Bay. Him and Gronk. I'm a big Gronk fan. I'm sorry, everyone.
Gronk is funny as hell.
Gronk. I love Gronk. That's an after hours show. Anyways, that's Twitter after hours.
The after hours show brought to you by Revolution Radio.
A psychopath.
There you go.
Anyways, when they went there, I was actually like rooting for them because I was like, good for you for getting away from the page. Free my man Tom is all I'm saying. They freed him, and good for you for going to Tampa Bay, who I honestly forgot existed. And then, good for you guys. Like, that was exciting for me because we didn't go, so what else was I going to do?
Michael says he hated Brady more because the Patriots fans than himself. I think a lot of people, all of us could agree that Boston fans are absolutely terrible. I hate Boston fans in general. I hate you all. Any Patriots.
Oh my God.
Because they're so, oh my God, we haven't won a championship in a year and a half. Oh my God, what am I going to do? Like, I'm going to lose my mind. I think I need to reconsider my life because one of my 4 franchises hasn't won a championship in a year and a half. Oh my God. Cry me a damn river. Y'all have been
like the Patriots.
Y'all have been so spoiled, and I hate you all. I hate you, Boston fans.
Do we just end the show there? Was that? I mean,
oh no, we got more.
Okay, the end. Kirby hates you all. Bye bye. What do you say after that?
I love Steeler Nation. I hate. Let me rephrase it. I hate Boston fans. I hate a lot of New York fans too, because a bunch of New Yorkers are a bunch of jackasses as well. But however, I do know a couple people who root for teams of New York who I actually do really like. But most of them are complete jackasses as well. Living in New York, Yankee fans are far worse than Red Sox fans.
Philly fans are the worst fans on the freaking planet. You can't convince me otherwise. Did you have to move your headphones where you're like, oh my God, that was way too loud?
No, I thought I had something in my ear.
No, Philly fans are the worst. In every sport, across the board, I hate you guys. I'm sorry, I do.
Well, Philly fans Philly fans are flat out disrespectful. That's what it is.
Yeah, Philly fans are my Boston. Like, I hate you. I'm just going to close my computer now. I have nothing left to say.
I was going to say, since we're going here, what are the fans of cities or teams that you hate the most of? Since we're going here, and you can comment down below what your most hated fan base is.
Tell us who you hate. We don't want any joy. We don't want any positivity. We have no hopes or dreams left anymore.
No, we're gonna get into. No, we will get into positives because we got to make sure that we're not just completely dark-sided.
I speak for yourself.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
I literally wear black every day. This is as colorful as
I'm wearing
it gets
black
for me.
and gold.
But no, this is every day. This is as colorful as I get. Just in case you're ready for a funeral, whenever.
So Michael says, shut your mouth about New York Kirby spewing your trash Cleveland opinions to us, all the jokes. And then Zay says, for me, I hate most Ohio fans, not you, Kirby, since I know you root for some teams that in that state. Baltimore's trash, and then Sealand is up there too. Baltimore also sucks.
I love how he didn't spell it, by the way.
Yeah, he's like that's how Ohio State fans are with the team up north, especially that week. We don't use that letter of the beginning of that state. For me, Baltimore, I haven't really ran into any trash Baltimore fans. I don't know too many, but they've always been okay with me. Although I still hate, I hate the Ravens. I don't necessarily hate.
Literally, the only Baltimore fan I know is Malik on Twitter, and he's like, I don't even know what he's doing.
No, I went
like,
to,
he's insane.
I went to school with with a Ravens fan, and
Okay.
But she actually was not. She wasn't bad at all. She was actually, she wasn't completely talking trash or whatever, and just being a typical Ravens fan.
Cowboys fans are a good one. I don't think I hate Cowboys fans. I just think that they're like definitely delusional.
Cowboys fans are just because they've been so pumped in our heads of they're America's team, this, that, and the third. Yeah, well, they're the America's circus team too. Don't get me wrong, they still have one of my favorite players in the league, Ezekiel Elliott, Ohio State boy. Because yet again, for the most part, if you're an Ohio State boy, I gotta root for you. Except if you're in division, then that becomes very hard to do.
My loyalty changes from league to league. I don't care if you go from team to team, but from league to league. That's right.
Michael says Yankee Cowboy fans you see a lot in New York, and you need to be hit with a taxi. Cowboys, Yankees, Laker fans are everywhere. Laker fans are a bunch of bandwagons. Yankees, you never know if they're actually fans or if most people are just wearing the jerseys because it's a fashion statement. They are one of the most recognizable logos in all of America or all of the world. Cowboys fans are a bunch of dumbasses. Cowboys fans can't admit when they're playing like garbage, especially you, Skip Bayless, or should I say Skip Baseless. Ohio, again, what's going on? Bengals fans, well, y'all, I don't like a lot of you Bengals fans. I hear every single day a bunch of Clowns fans talking about this, that, and the third. Well, most of y'all are trash anyway. And don't get me wrong, I'm still a fan of the Guardians. Now I have to start calling them that. Cavs, I don't get me wrong, I like the Cavs. I'm not the biggest of basketball fans, but they're still always going to be my team. Other than that, I don't really know. I don't even hate the team up north fans. Michigan fans. I don't even hate y'all because y'all understand that Ohio State is your daddy, so there's that as well.
Here we go.
No,
Here we go.
No, you know who is a team I absolutely despise? For me being an Ohio State fan, this is going to piss off a lot of people, I think, is Penn State. I hate Penn State so much.
If anybody wants Kirby's address, let me know. I'll send it to you. You can burn his house down. It's totally fine.
Or we'll flip that around.
Did you see what Mike said?
Alabama fans are are the worst in college football next to Michigan and Ohio State. I've never really had issues with Alabama fans. I think, and don't get me wrong, there probably is a bunch of trash ones. But yet again, there's a bunch of trash fans in every fan base. Let's be honest. I hate to admit, there's definitely some trash Steeler fans too who like to wish injury on people as well. But
oh my gosh, everybody's so upset about Alabama fans now.
Kirby, I like you even more now. I appreciate that. But yeah, I don't know. Well, Alabama, they've been good at the fact that, yeah, don't get me wrong, they do have arguably the best college football coach of all time in Nick Saban. He has been phenomenal, and they've been able to recruit like hell. Part of the issue too is just the whole college football system is so flawed, but that's a whole different story for a different time.
I can't admit though, like as an Alabama fan, and I'll be honest, I don't enjoy college football as much anymore. The older I get, kind of the less I enjoy it. But it is annoying how a lot of Alabama fans do say "Roll Tide" to everything. Like, I don't think that that's a normal response. Something is wrong with you if that's your response to
What's
everything.
2 plus 2? Roll Tide!
I know, and I'm like, oh, good. You're stupid.
Yeah, it's just like a bunch of people. Bama fans don't give me any problems. The fans that give me problems are Penn State, West Virginia, Georgia Tech, and Virginia Tech fans. That makes a whole lot of sense because outside of Penn State, most of those teams are obviously ACC. And
okay, but who are your hockey teams? Who are your hockey teams? Let's hear it.
That I hate?
No, that you love.
Obviously. It's going to be the Penguins. You know what it is. Let's go Pens.
I know you started loving them like last year, but...
Ironically, I almost bought a Sidney Crosby jersey earlier this week.
Really?
They didn't have it in my size. It was a yellow It was a yellow jersey, and it looked so beautiful. But they didn't have my size.
It looked so beautiful.
It looked like bon appetit for a jersey. Although I will get me one before here soon. Obviously, adult priorities do come first, but when I do get the chance, a Sidney Crosby jersey or even maybe a Mario Lemieux jersey will be coming home.
I might have a signed one.
Congratulations to you and all your success.
It's the little things in life. If my house is on fire, please save my jersey collection and let me die. Okay.
If my house bursts down, save my shoe collection, my jersey collection, my animals, my mom, and the Divine Discovery book that's going to be in my home here soon. Boom. You like how I did that?
List. Yeah, that's a great list, actually. I think that's good.
Yeah. By the way, and I'll say this for you, if you haven't bought Divine Discovery yet, go buy it right now. Right now.
Please don't read it.
Huh?
Please don't read it. Please don't read it ever. If you guys could just buy it, but never read it, that would be great.
Oh, don't get me. I'm reading it, and it's Texas Longhorn fans are really bad too. A friend got his truck broken into and smashed. So in that case, there you go. I'll do that for a Longhorn fan as well. Jared said Stone is dissing me.
Just another day,
I have been nothing but I am a nice person. I am a nice, kind-hearted individual.
I don't like to be nice. I like to be evil. So.
We know. Got my signed book.
Yay!
So obviously I told Stone, I said for her note that she's going to put in mine, I told her, I said, I put in there author's choice. Good God, I am very afraid to know what the hell her demonic ass is going to put in mine. I am very afraid.
I actually, crazy thing is, I was overwhelmed, and I'm so blessed, and everyone here that's, bought a book or supported me or retweeted me or whatever you've done, I'm so beyond grateful. I actually ran out of books. I never imagined that would happen. So I had to order more. They'll be here tomorrow. And I am I know this isn't sports, but I do want to say out loud that I am incredibly grateful for, everyone who's been super supportive.
So now I've been friends with athletes and now authors.
And I just want to throw something out there that you are this is so crazy. Trey Essex is going to buy my book. What?
Kaylee says I'm going to sit in public and read Stone's book out loud.
Please don't.
Author's choice. The throat punch count is up to 63. Which, by the way,
it's going down in January. You have no idea. In January?
Well, yeah, because that's what I was going to ask is because I think that's the game I'm going to is the one in January to that Monday night game.
I've had a lot of people that have actually apparently thought about starting a GoFundMe to bail me out of jail, and I have some questions on why people think that I'm going to jail in January. What?
What could you possibly do in January that would get you in jail?
At the game.
I mean, I don't know. That's going to be something we'll have to determine in January.
Is that a fear that people actually have?
Can I say something weird that's been going on too?
Sure.
In the span of the last 10 days, I've had 4 different people ask me to go with them to the Browns-Broncos Thursday night game.
That's so random.
I'm like, what? That's kind of very off-brand. What? I've had a bunch of people ask me if I'm going to the Browns-Steelers game in Cleveland since I am from here. I said no, because I'd much rather go to Heinz Field and watch the game there. I've seen too many. I've already seen 2 games, Browns-Steelers games at First Energy Stadium. I don't need another one. I need to go to Heinz Field. I need to be with Steeler Nation.
I want to go to Heinz Field, and I do want to see Ben play. That's like we talked about. He's not doing well and all that, and I understand that, and I do hate it. but I want to see him play at Heinz Field because I wholeheartedly do think this will be his last season.
It better be.
And as it should be, if you would shut the hell up and let me finish, as it should be. But I hate that he's like, he almost looks like a villain. You know, they're kind of playing him out to be a villain, and they're downplaying everything he's done for the team to this point, in a sense. You know what I mean? They're like, Ben is trash. Ben is trash. He's not performing well this year, but let's not forget about all the good that he has done. You know, let's not forget all those years he did give us. And I hate that for him. He should be enjoying this year. He really should be.
I think part of it,
he's
too.
not.
I think part of it, too, is I mean, we're 99% sure this is going to be his final year. It's never, because it never officially came out or anything, so you always have to put that 1% in there. I think part of it, too, is for Steeler Nation, we're kind of upset at the fact that he may not be getting like a goodbye tour like Kobe Bryant did in the NBA, where you could go to every stadium or every arena in the NBA, and there are going to be fans of Kobe, and you know, have one of those kind of goodbye tours. Oh, look, irrelevant Cleveland plug by Curly. Edit that 64 budgets. I might as well get it, do 5 more and then call it a quit. So we're at a nice.
But I think I hate that people are like, he's going out like this. And they're going to forget everything he's done. And this is going to be the last thing that people see, you know? And that kind of upsets me for him. Like, I get it. You know, as far as football, you want to win. Everybody wants to win. That's what we're all here for. But also, like, it boils down to them being human beings. And he's done a lot of good things. And not everything that's happening right now is his fault. But I feel like he's getting a lot of the blame that isn't necessarily his as well. Yeah. And they're like, oh, well, he's leaving, so we can just say whatever. We can say he's washed. We can say he's trash. We could say, you know, all these things. And it's like, but he hasn't been trash this whole time.
Yeah, I mean, there is a reason why he just threw his he is now the 8th quarterback in NFL history to throw for 400 touchdown passes. And like, it sucks that for him, not every player is going to go out like Ray Lewis and, you know, end his career in a Super Bowl, or like Jerome Bettis with us. He was able to retire in a Super Bowl win in his hometown in Detroit. You're not always going to get that. And it sucks that, yeah, it's okay to say that he's not playing well, or if you want to say he's washed or anything like that, I don't necessarily get too upset with that, because at the end of the day, we do have to. There is criticism that has to be said, and and again, this goes back to what I said earlier, where people are speaking with emotion rather than being logical. Yes, we love Ben Roethlisberger. He's been our quarterback for most of our lives, or our time as being a fan of the Steelers. But like you said, Father Time is undefeated. It's coming after Tom Brady's ass here soon. He just somehow is. He's
a robot. Like, I'm telling you, he's not a human being.
But here's the thing too. Even with Tom Brady, the situation he's in, he still has one of the best offensive lines in football. I mean, and don't get me, and I don't blame Tom Brady at all for going to Tampa Bay. It was actually a very smart decision by him, obviously, in the fact that he won a Super Bowl, because you look at what he went into, one of the better offensive lines in football. They actually drafted who my favorite offensive line of the 2020 draft was in Tristan Wirfs. I thought he was going to be a very good tackle. And then you go into Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. You were able to get Antonio Brown. You brought back Rob Gronkowski after he decided to go for a year to do WWE. And then on defense.
Well, I like what Mike just said. That's a trick. Brady is Father Time. So do you think he's, like, sucking the soul out of the other quarterbacks, and that's why he's still, you know what I mean? Like, it's something to think about. It's something to keep you up at night. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, at this point, he's talking about trying to play till he's 50. And
he's like a Dementor from Harry Potter.
At this point, I'm gonna be 97 years old, and and Tom Brady's gonna be playing at the age of 136, still throwing for 3,500 yards and 28 touchdowns. Like, I don't get it. But yeah, here's something that Pittsburgh needs to start doing. Going back
play better.
Yeah, well, they need to play better. But I think something that they need to really implement more of, and this is something that Green Bay was doing, and is very smart, is you implementing chip blocks. If you understand that your tackles are not blocking that well, or if they're struggling, give them a little bit of boost. If you're Pat Freiermuth and you're lined up on the right side of the offense, before you go and run your route, give whoever that left end is a low chip block, because that will help out that will help out Chooks Okorafor or whoever's good. If it eventually it's going to be Zach Banner, it's going to help out a lot. And that's something that they need to implement, because you look at some of the pass rushers we're going to be going up against later on in the season. I mean, we're already going up against Von Miller this Sunday. You got Carlos Dunlap, Myles Garrett, Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, Trey Hendrickson once again, Daniil Hunter, Everson Griffin, Bud Dupree, Chris Jones, Frank Clark. And then you have to go up against Myles Garrett again. Don't get me wrong, I don't like Myles Garrett, but you still have to respect he is one of the better pass rushers in the NFL. And the same with Trey Hendrickson. He went to Cincinnati, and I hated it, because that's just another pass rusher we have to go up against. And let's not forget about Calais Campbell in Baltimore either. So this is not going to get any easier. And this is something that they really need to implement if you want to help out this pass game, and if you want to help out the run game as well. Because obviously, if you could really work on the pass, then that could help open things up with the run. And we saw a little bit of improvements in the run game, and we see what Najee Harris, when you give him room, he can go. But there's a whole lot that needs to go with this offense. I saw that, and then I just look over, and you're just sipping your water.
Refreshing.
And this episode is sponsored by water and Divine Discovery.
This is the cup of champions. Okay.
The Chup.
I'm a disaster. Like, my life is so unorganized right now. I've had like 3 to 4 hours of sleep every night. I am just not okay. I'm not okay. So I'm sorry if you see me on Twitter.
You probably need to drink a chump of coffee.
Probably a chump of coffee. So if you see me on Twitter just ranting, especially come game day, like I'm gonna apologize in advance. Like, not really apologize, but just kind of apologize. It's gonna be bad.
TJ Black Gaming says, I have been a Steeler fan since I was born. When Ben was drafted, we just need to beat ourselves, or we just beat ourselves, but we're gonna need a good QB, because this draft of QBs are not it, guys. I think that's something that is interesting with that, because going into this season, or going into this college football season, as I mentioned to you in our group chat that we have, going into this quarterback class is not the greatest, but you're going to hear a bunch of guys that are going to be possibilities for the quarterback position for 2022 if we decide to go that route. If you're not able to maybe go and get a bridge guy, or if you don't get Aaron Rodgers, or figure out what the hell's going on with Deshaun Watson, and if you're not able to pull that off, so this offseason is going to be very interesting. It's going to be
I'm going to delete Twitter. I'm going to delete it. I can't do it.
It's going to be a very unusual offseason. It's going to be a very, interesting offseason for us, because we're not used to going into this figuring out what the hell we're going to do at quarterback, because we've had our quarterback, and that's typically what happens with teams when you are able to draft a franchise quarterback. It becomes very uncharacteristic or not very uncharacteristic, but very unusual to figure out what the hell you're going to do at the quarterback position. And apparently you are now the one that's starting to trigger everyone. Usually it's me.
And there's there's elephants on it, which honestly is crazy. But then there's also, A's all over it.
What would happen if you just started...
Roll Tide?
What would happen if you just started live tweeting Alabama games?
I don't, it's hard because I don't get into college football the way I used to. Like I said, the older I get, the less I almost feel like, I'm going to be honest, and everyone, like, you can laugh at me, that's fine. I kind of feel like kind of creepy watching it. Like, I feel like,
you're watching a bunch of 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds?
Yeah. Like, I feel like I'm going to go to jail, for sure.
All right. Well, we are, thank you everyone for tuning in. We do need to get off of here. I hope y'all have a great evening. Y'all stay safe and peace out.